Mai kahi pai a kahi pai, aloha nui kākou e na ohana Pūnana Leo. Mahalo nui keia hui ana I keia ahiahi for tonight's Haʻawina ʻŌlelo Hawaiʻi, for this hui ki pai pai. Lana ka mana'o mai ka ino o kou pakahia pau. E lu'u kākou I ka Haʻawina o keia pule. Ai, no leila eia na pahu hopu o keia pule. Here are the goals for this week. Pahu hopu e kahi. Goal number 1 is to e a'o I ka pepeke painu no ka wā e hiki mai ana. ʻAʻano 1, in both positive and negative forms, talks about things that will be completed or not be completed, but will be is the mana'o. It hasn't happened yet. It's not happening right now in the present tense, but it will be happening in the future. Okay. Pahuhopu e lua, e a'o I ka pepeke painu e ana e lua. That talks about ka wā I hala, something that's already happened. Ka wā ʻano, something that is happening right now. A me ka wā e hiki mai ana, something that will happen. And finally, pahuhopu e kolu, again, e ho'oma'ama'a I na hua ʻŌlelo no ka lumi ho'okipa. Vocabulary words for the living room. Oh yeah, maika'i e ho'omawaku no. All right, so we're going to look at the pepeke painu. E ana e kahi, yeah, e ana 1, with hehele, hamani, and ʻaʻano verbs as we normally do. And but first, let's define e ana e kahi. So e ana e kahi is when used with hehele, hamani, and ʻaʻano verbs, it indicates an action or a condition as going to happen. Yeah, it has not been completed yet. It will happen. It will be completed. So let's take a look at some examples of e ana e kahi. All right, our first example is e noho I hoana ke kupuna I ke koki. Okay, and again, quick review. We have our painu, our verbs marked in green, our optional hune kuhi, which gives us a sense of direction, are in parentheses. And then, of course, we have the pattern for tonight in bold, in black. And then, as always, we have the piko of the sentence or the subject underline, which in this case is ke kupuna. And then at the end, in italicized form, we have the thing that is receiving the action or the reason why a condition has happened, has taken place. So the translation of this is the grandparent is going to sit on the couch. Yeah. E noho iho ana ke kupuna I ke koki. Okay, so noho is the action of sitting down, right? And iho confirms that. Iho gives us that sense of direction that it is in a downward motion. We have eana wrapped around the painu noho, and that tells us that it has not happened. It's not completed yet. It's going to happen. And then, of course, kekupuna is the piko. It is the person who is doing the action. And then ike koki is the thing that will be sat upon. Okay, the person will be sitting down on top of the koki. Oh yeah, e ho'omau, e ho'oma'e ma'e, a'e ana, o leo lani, I ka pahu pihi. Okay, ho'oma'e ma'e is our hamani action word verb. A'e is the hunekuhi giving us direction. E ana is the tense markers that indicate that this action has not been completed yet. Who is the one doing the action? O leo lani. Yep, leolani is an ioa because it's capitalized and it's in the piko position. We have the okina o in front of it. And the thing that is receiving the action of being ho'oma'e ma'e is kapahu pihi. Yeah, I kapahu pihi. And that E marks the thing that is receiving the action, our ami lauka. All right, let's take a look at the unuhi. Ololei, Leolani is going to clean the remote. Yeah, the remote control for her TV. Leolani is going to clean the remote. It hasn't happened yet. It's not happening right now. It will happen. All right, Maikai, last one. E ma'e ma'e, ihoana, laua, yaoi. So ma'e ma'e is an example of an ʻaʻano verb, yeah, a stated verb, stating the condition of something. No leila, e ma'e ma'e, the directional, iho, ana, e ma'e ana will become clean, yeah. Who will become clean? Laua. Yeah, one of our papani that we've learned thus far. Laua meaning they too or them too. And what is the reason for this condition of being clean or in a state of cleanliness? Yaoi. Yeah, yaoi, you, because of you, from you, by you. Okay. And this is always the case when you have an ʻaʻano verb in the po'o position. Ai, polole, they too are going to be clean from you, because of you, by you. So this is how we use eana, meaning that the action will happen with hehele, hamani, and ʻaʻano type verbs. Okay, maikai ho'omawaku no. All right, so let's practice our translations. Okay, go ahead and put your answers in the pahu kole kole, the chat box. The action always comes first, yeah? Verb comes first. So entering, como, yeah, como, and then we wrap around eana around it. So it would be e komoana, right? E komoana. And then we can add in a hune kuhi too to give it more direction, but let's just keep it simple for now. E komoana. Who is doing the entering? They too. Okay, so they too. Laua, e komoana laua. Into the picture, e, right? E is in, on, or at. In this case, it can be also meant into, since we're talking about como. We're using the word or the concept of entering into what? Keki'i, maikai, the picture keki'i. So let's see if you got this correct. Ai, e como mai ana laua I ke ki'i. All right, so if you typed in e como mai ana or e como ana laua I ke ki'i in the pahu kole kole, ho'o mai ka'i oi, congratulations, you got this one. All right, mai ka'i loa, ho'o mawaku no, Lani is going to press the button. Again, we're looking at actions that will be completed. All right, so the action here is press, right? To press. What was the word for to press? Kaumi means to press. And this action has not happened yet, so it's going to be e kaumiana, right? E kaumiana. Who's doing the pressing? Who's the pico of this sentence? Ai, lani. Yeah, so because lani is an ioa, we have to precede it with the ami pico o, and we'll say o lani. All right. And what is receiving the action of being pressed? Yeah. The button. Okay. And the button, we would mark the button with the amilauka, and the button is kepihi. Kepihi. Button is one of those words that is an exception to the Keao guidelines. So we wouldn't say I kapihi, we should say I kepihi. So again, e kaumiana or e kaumi ihoana olani ikepihi. All right, so let's check our answer. Ai, maikai e kaumi iho ana olani ikepihi. All right. If you got this in the pahu kole kole, mahe ka iloa oya e ho'omawaku no. Is the chair going to be dirty from the dust? Okay, so ani no. Yeah, this is a question. Is the chair going to be dirty from the dust? So again, we just continue to use the eyana markers, right, with our painu in between. So dirty, okay? The word for dirty is lepo, lepo, e lepo wana, e lepo wana. Remember now, lepo is an ʻaʻano verb. Okay, so e lepo wana, what's going to become lepo? The chair. Kanoho, right? What is the cause of this? Yeah, we're trying to find out what is the reason for it to become dirty. I keehu, lepo is the word for dust, ehu lepo, lepo without inokina. So in ʻŌlelo Hawaiʻi, the question should be e lepo wana kanoho I keehu lepo. All right, let's ho'oia. Let's check if we got that polole. E maikai. E lepo, and we chose to use iho as the directional. E lepo iho ana kanoho I keehu lepo. Okay. And again, this is an e now. So let me ask the question in the correct intonation. E lepo iho ana kanoho I keehu lepo. Intonation goes up and comes down at the end. All right. So that's how we would ask this question if we were ever in this situation. Okay. Mai ka iloa. If you got all of these polole, you're right on track. So mai ka iloa, ho'oma wakuno. Pepeke painu hehele hamani ʻaʻano e ana e kahi. Yeah. We're going to take a look at the sentences that we just covered in the previous slide. But now we're going to look at both positive and negative forms. So let's take a look. E no hui hoana ke kupuna I ke koki. We said that this was that the kupuna or the grandparent is going to sit down on the couch, on the koki. So now we're going to say that the kupuna is not going to sit down on the koki, on the couch. And all we do is add ʻaʻole. Yeah, ʻaʻole e noho I hoana ke kupuna I ke koki. Okay, maikai the kupuna, the grandparent will not sit down on the couch. Maikai. E hoʻomaʻe maʻe aʻe ana o Leolani I ka pahupihi. Leolani will clean the remote control. Okay, it hasn't happened yet. It's not happening now. It will happen in the future. The negative of that is a ole e ho'omaʻe maʻe aʻe ana o Leolani I ka pahupihi. Leolani will not clean the remote. Okay, maikaʻi. Next one. E maʻe maʻe I hoana laua ia oe. They will become clean. They too, laua, will become clean by you or from you or because of you. Now we're going to say that they are not going to be clean by you, from you, or because of you. And the way we do that is we add ʻaʻole again, but because it's a papani, something has to change. So the rule again is if the piko is a papani, that piko papani will jump up in front and follow the word ʻaʻole. So we have ʻaʻole laua e maʻe maʻe I hoana ia oe. They will not become clean because of you. Okay? Mai ka'i. Ho'omawaku no. All right, let's ho'oma with the next few examples here. Here we go. E komo mai ana laua I ke ki'i. Right? We said that this was they too, them too, will be entering into the ki'i. Yeah, they're going to be a part of the picture. So they're going to come and join the group. E komo mai ana laua I ke ki'i. The mai is giving us a sense of direction and who's doing the speaking. And to negate this, all we say is ʻaʻole laua e komo mai ana I ke ki'i. Yeah, again, like the previous example, laua is a papani. Therefore, laua will jump up in front. Yeah, lele kapiko papani I mua, following ʻaʻole. So ʻaʻole laua e komo mai ana I ke ki'i. Maikaʻi. E kaumi iho ana o lani I ke pihi. We said that this meant that lani will be pressing in a downward direction, the pihi or the button. And to negate this, all we do is add the word ʻaʻole. ʻaʻole e kaumi iho ana o lani I ke pihi. Yeah, lani will not be pressing the button. Okay, maikaʻi. Okay, again with the ʻaʻano verb lepo, e lepo iho ana ka noho I ke ehu lepo. And this is a question. Will it happen? Yeah. And then to negate that, we're going to say, ʻaʻole e lepo iho ana ka noho I ke ehu lepo. Again, this is a question. ʻaʻole e lepo iho ana ka noho I ke ehu lepo. All right, maikaʻi. The second form that we're going to look at tonight of the pepeke painu is e ana e lua. Yeah, e ana number 2 or form number 2. And in this form, the definition slightly differs. So let's take a look at this. So when used with hehele, hamani, and ʻaʻano verbs, it marks an action as in the process of occurring in the present, past, and or the future. All right, so e ana does not only mean in the future, it can also mean process of occurring in the present, it happened in the past, and or the future, but it all depends on the context of the conversation, yeah, of what you're discussing, what you're talking about. It is not as simple as the action has not yet been completed or will be completed. There's more to it than that. So it depends on the context again. So let's take a look at some of the context that could be. All right. So e noho ana oia, he or she will be sitting, is what we would normally think, but it all depends on the context, and the context could be in the past, present, and or in the future. So let's take a look at the possibilities. He was sitting, he is sitting, and again, this all depends on the context of the conversation and how you use e ana. Maikai, next one. E ho'omaʻe maʻe ana ke keiki. Yeah, the child will clean something. We're not saying what the child will clean, but the child will clean something. So let's take a look at the different possible meanings of e ho'oma'ema'eana ke keiki in the context of eana elua. So it could mean that the child was cleaning, the child is cleaning, or the child will be cleaning. Okay, again, it depends on the context. Next one, e ma ama amana ke kukui. Now the kukui, the light will be bright. It will be bright. This is what we would normally think, right? As eana ekahi would indicate. But this is eana elua. And again, there's possible translations. So let's take a look. All right. So the light was bright. The light is getting bright. We're in the process of occurring, of becoming bright, or the light will be bright. Okay. So mai kai, keep this in mind that eana elua will depend on what the context is, what the meaning will be. All right. Let's ho'omau akuno. All right. E noho ana oya. We said e noho ana oya is he or she will be sitting. Let's negate this. A ole oya e noho ana. No later, let's look at the possible translations. He or she was not sitting. He or she is not sitting, or he or she will not be sitting. All right. Again, it depends on the context. Maikai. E ho'oma'e ana ke keiki. The child will clean something. Let's negate that. Let's take a look at the context that it could be in the forms of eana elua. The child was not cleaning, or it could mean the child is not cleaning at the present moment, or it could mean the child will not be cleaning as usual. Yeah, as usual in the eana ekahi form. Maikai, the next one. E ma ama ama na ke kukui, the light will become ma ama ama, will become bright. All right, let's negate this. A ole e ma ama ama na ke kukui. The light was not bright. The light is not getting bright. The light will not be bright. And again, context. All right, maika iloa. One more thing I like to point out before we close out for tonight is that there's no okina in there. There shouldn't be an okina sound. And for example, e nohoana. Yeah, e nohoana in both the positive and negative forms. E ho'oma'e ma'eana. E ho'oma'e ma'eana. In both the positive and negative forms. It doesn't change. There's no okina for that ana. Okay. And finally, e ma ama ama ana. E ma ama ama ana. In both the positive and negative. There's no okina, so everything should flow. Even with the hune kuhi, when we do have the hune kuhi present, none of the hune kuhi have okina. Mai, aku, wa'e, iho, none of them have okina. There are no okina unless the verb has an okina in it. Everything should flow, right? Oh yeah, meikai. This was a quick one, but again, in ohana, these lessons are now becoming more and more important to make sure that you review the previous lessons so that these ones will make sense. Yeah. And I'm hoping that e ho'oma'ama'ana oko ikeia haʻawina so that it becomes pa'a to you. So go ahead and continue practicing these sentences, these pepeke painu, māka painu ua, I, the māka painu kei nei, and now the māka painu eana in both forms, ekahi and elua. All right, mai ka iloa, mahalo ki hui ho ana, ai ke kahi haʻawina, malama pono, a hui ho aku no, aloha.